Hello folks, welcome to our 33rd video of the Regal Wellness series. Can't say that. So today we're going to be talking about tips for a healthy back. And, I talked about last week we were going to do another part on the stability ball, but I had some back issues this week, so I thought maybe we're going to talk about a healthy back. Some of you folks might be suffering from back soreness, so we thought we'd give you some tips on that. So our first tip today is 1 foot up. And I have a little block, a yoga block, but you can use a wooden block, anything about 3 to 5 inches high. Put that up, and what that does, that unlocks your hip joint and puts less stress on your facet joints. Remember, your facet joints are these little joints that keep your back in alignment. They prevent you from going to extreme curves, too much lordosis, too much kyphosis. And let me just demonstrate what unlocking your hip joint looks like. So I'm going to get on the mat. Now, this is my hip joints locked. My legs are straight. I'm going to come up, and my leg, I can get about there comfortably. Now, when I unlock my hip joint, I'm going to bend my leg. I'm going to unlock my hip joint, and I can bring my leg way up here, even with a sore back. So pretty good. So that's going to make you more comfortable. And what do they have at every bar in America? On the floor, they have almost every bar in America. They have a little bar. And you put your feet up on that, and it makes you more comfortable while you're standing at the bar. If you're more comfortable, what's going to happen? You bet. You're probably going to have another drink. So those restaurants are pretty smart. So I'm going to put this away. Our next tip is avoid bending and twisting. You can't do that completely, but you want to avoid real fast bends, real fast twists, and definitely you want to avoid bending and twisting at the same time. That's going to put a lot of stress on those discs. Remember the discs, they're the little guys, the shock absorbers in between each vertebrae. And you want those discs nice and even like that. When you start twisting and bending like that, they start to pinch one way or the other. So you want to be careful with that. Remember we use the Oreo cookie, and if you press one side too much, that disc starts to peel out. The ankylosing fibrosis starts to push out. So be careful of that. Avoid bending and twisting as much as you can. Another one is push, not pull. So you see, when I pull, I'm not in the greatest position here for my back. When I'm pushing, I'm in a much better position. So if you have the choice between pushing and pulling, push the object. Another tip is keep moving. And even if your back is sore, if it's not extremely sore, try to move a little bit, because you're going to get more nutrients because you feed your back through movement. That's one way you feed your back, through movement. So you want to be moving somewhat. And studies, more and more studies are out that people with back problems, if they don't move enough, that's going to make things even worse. Another one is balance out your body. So if you're sweeping, if you sweep the house all the time, you sweep your driveway, don't always sweep one way. Go the other way. Back and forth. If you're when I shave, I try to shave part left hand, part right hand. So balance out your body. Don't do everything to one side. And another one is stretching. If you do a lot of rhythmic activity, example would be running, walking, swimming, bike riding. If you do a lot of that rhythmic activity, try to do some stretching afterwards. And next up is range of work. Where's the safest range of work? And they say the safest range of work is between your shoulders and your waist, right there. If you can keep your work within that range, that's going to be the safest. Of course, we can't always be there. Sometimes we got to reach down to get things, or reach high to get some stuff. But try to stay within that range. Another one is our back pocket. Your back pocket. I know my coworker Ari. He's got a thick wallet. He's loaded. He's got a lot of money in there, a lot of credit cards. And if that's really thick and you've got that in there all day, and you sit down, that's pressing up into that sciatica area. And that sciatica area, if you ever had a sciatica problem, it could be really painful. So try to get that wallet out of there. Especially when you're driving, when you're sitting in the office, you don't need to have that wallet in there. If you're out for the store, you want to put it in there, you're standing, that's not going to be an issue. But try to don't be, when you're sitting around, don't have that wallet pushing on your fan. Our next one is shoes. So if my shoe's untied, I don't want to reach down like this and tie it. So you want to try to bend down on one knee and tie your shoe. A lot less stress on your back. Or There's the possibility of putting your foot up somewhere and tie it there. So don't do, that's old school. When you bend down, you try to touch your toes like that, that's putting an extreme amount of stress on your low back. So don't be doing that. If you do have to bend down like that, bend your knees first and come down. And push your fanny back. So bend your knees and push your fanny back if you really have to go down like that. And also with shoes, Maggie, who was filming today, she let us borrow her shoes. If you got real high heels like that, or not even that high, you're going to throw your center of your gravity off. You're not going to be centered where you should be. That's throwing everything off. It's going to put more stress on your back. So watch the high heels. If you really have to wipe, and you shouldn't be walking around with those all the time. If you need them for a certain thing, maybe wear your sneakers and then put the shoes on when you have to go to your certain event. But don't walk around in those all the time. I see people in the airports with the high heels. That's really tough on your back. Tough on your feet too. And lastly is phone neck and text neck. And text neck is this. See my cervical spine's out of line there. Or phone neck, like this. Like this. Be careful with that, because your head weighs, everybody's a little different with the weight of their head. But your head weighs about 10 to 12 pounds, almost like a light bowling ball weight. And just being off, here's nice straight posture, but if your head's just off this 15 degrees, that's putting about 27 pounds of extra stress on that cervical spine. So you don't want that. You want to have problems up here. But that's just some of the tips for keeping your back healthy. And we've got a lot more of them. We'll go over that in future videos. But I want to thank you so much for joining us today. And remember, stay safe, stay strong, and be happy. We'll see you next week.